Greetings, divine ones, and welcome to week 4 on liberation through identity. I am your guide, Dr. Hill Groove, coming to you on Haudenosaunee land in central New York. We made it, y'all. We made it to week 4. So before we talk about day 1 of week 4, which is about claiming our bodies, let us ground ourselves into this week and into this week's mantra. If you can, close your eyes. If not, if you can, take a pause from whatever it is you're doing, from your daily movement, daily routine, and just allow yourself to breathe into the present moment. Take a few deep breaths. Remember to allow your belly to fill, and then on the exhale to let it sink as close as it can to your back. Deep breath in. Last one. Deep breath in. Expanding your heart and rib cage and letting it out. That feels so good. So if you've been journeying along with us, hey, if you are just joining with us, welcome. The mantra for this week, and to just reiterate the mantra, we talked about the mantra as something that reminds us of things that we've forgotten, and as something that we want to call into our being, into our living. And so this week's mantra, if you can just put your hand on your heart, perhaps your hand on your belly, around your creative activated energy center, which is your belly button. This week's mantra is, I am healing energy, and I am ready to use what the good earth gave me. Again, I am healing energy, and I am ready to use what the good earth gave me. Last time, say it with me. I am healing energy, and I am ready to use what the good earth gave me. Just let that settle into your body a moment as I talk to you about today. So, as I said, we are now in week 4, and we are about, I believe, 7 days from the big day where we take over the field, where we take over the frequencies, where we take over the internets. Yes, I said internets. Where we take over the space with movement, with breathing, and with shifting. This week on Liberation Through Identity is about using the tools from the previous 3 weeks to take inventory of what is going on with the self. What is the sort of attuning and retuning that we need to do in the self in order to manifest the liberation, the world, the relationships, the community that we so desire. And so today, in claiming our bodies, this is about us making note of the boundaries that we have created, or the boundaries that we have yet to create, that might be useful in terms of practicing full presence, in terms of being in relationship in healthy ways, and in terms of being and acting from our core, from our soul self. So some of the things that we are going to be thinking about today, and that we invite you to think about, one is that this is an internal day. for those of us who have been organizing the 28 days, these 28 days and this global dance meditation, we are tuning inward to our organizing space, attuning to what sorts of conversations need to be had, clarifying the agreements that we made knowingly and unknowingly, and how we want to proceed as a collective for moving forward. So, some of the things to be thinking about in claiming our bodies is, what parts of our body don't we recognize? And when I talk about the body, I'm talking about the body self. So it is the fullness. It is also our memories, right? It's not just our physical body. It is also all the elements of us. So if we think about one, moving away from the body and mind being separate to the body having a number of minds, that then attuning to our body and claiming our body is claiming our full self, body, mind, spirit. Yes? And so some of the questions to be thinking about today is, how do I engage with my body in terms of sexual relationships? Have I had moments where I have not been an enthusiastic, consenting individual? And what stories did I make about that experience? It is about attending to, how have we fed and nurtured our bodies? How have we also disregarded our bodies, perhaps in the name of meeting a goal, perhaps in the name of a relationship, perhaps in the name of our children, perhaps in the name of you name it, right? It's asking those questions. It's also thinking about, how might we've been also continuing to layer and layer how we understand these terminologies that we are coming to. And so as we think about claiming our body and its relationship to transformative healing and transformative justice, it also invites us to think about, in what ways have we used our bodies that have that the outcome of it has been harm to ourselves and or to another? What are the narratives that we've then created about that doing? And do those narratives highlight, do they bring into view, do they highlight both what happened and our shadows? Do they highlight our humanity and the humanity of those involved? Like, how do we address and provide redress to things, to events, to experiences that have occurred, while also grounding ourselves in collective understanding, in collective movement, and in collective liberation, right? That this human, that my harboring or my hurt is directly attached to this other human. And so it means that I got to do a little bit more than coddling myself. I got to do a little bit more than making myself feel good about what happened. I have to stand in truth. I have to call upon tools from earlier week 3 around peace through acceptance. I have to accept what happened. Not that it was okay that it happened, but accept that it created an opportunity for me to reflect, and I have the choice to decide what I want to do with that moment. It allows us to call on earlier tools and meditations around removing the binary and around embracing and harmonizing in duality. It allows us to call forth the work of vulnerability, the hard work of vulnerability, the difficult work of shadow work, but the necessary work. It allows us to think more expansively about, one, the work that we do or haven't yet done with our body. who else is a part or an interlocutor of that body work, and what possibilities emerge when I'm attending to the multiple layers of my body and I'm doing so in community. What new narratives emerge? What new possibilities emerge? What new grooves emerge in terms of my capacity to navigate in my natural time while being fully present to myself? This is about diet. And I don't mean diet as in depraving oneself. I mean, this is attending to what goes into our body and what serves as an ongoing feeding into our body. This is about the space that we make for ourselves when we are just alone with the many iterations of ourselves, but also this is about the space we make for ourselves and that we take up when we are in the presence of others. This is about taking on the challenge of seeing our bodies as interconnected with our mind and spirit, and also the body, minds, and spirits of others. Our liberation is interlocked, interlinked, interlaced, interwoven. So today, take some time, make some time to sit with yourself and explore one of the following. What part of my body have I not actively and regularly claimed? And how can I do more to claim it? What is a story that I have told myself about something challenging that has happened? And if I use a both and perspective, what emerges anew? For example, how can I also write into that narrative my humanity if I inflicted harm, the other person's humanity if they inflicted harm, and how is harm diffuse in that instance? What sorts of things have I done afterwards, and have they been more affirming or more harmful? And the last option is to, or the last journal prompt is to think about what and to write into or dance into or breathe into. What is the relationship I seek to have with my body in liberation? And with that said, please remember our mantra this week. I am healing energy and ready to use what the good earth gave me. I will see you soon. Remember to breathe. Remember to be. Until next time.